Welcome back to GotTech the Podcast. This is episode 106 called Edtech March Madness Bracket. In this episode, in honor of the 2022 March Madness Tournament, Guise and I invited March Edtech Madness creator Kyle Niemis to the show to discuss 16 EdTech tools as they compete to be the ultimate EdTech tool champion. This is another episode you don't want to miss. Check it out.
I'm fired up for this one. This is one of my favorites that we do pretty much every year. Kyle, it's awesome to see you again. I think you're third most person that's ever been on this podcast. So congratulations to that. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. Third most? I'm actually shocked by that. I thought I'd have the championship, but I suppose not.
Well, me and Nick being 1 and 2.
All right, then I'll take it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm coming off of being pretty sick for the past few days, but I finally felt better today. So I was really happy to be able to make this recording and to do this because I'm also super excited. I love real March Madness, and I love all the fake brackets that go along with it. I think it's a super fun sort of culture that has developed around this time. And it's great that we get to do that same kind of thing in the EdTech world. So really excited to do a show on that. And like you said, Kyle is one of our favorite guests. We're happy to have him back. We, as GotTech the Podcast, have some pretty exciting updates too that we're going to get into first. Guys, if you want to take that away.
Yeah, so upcoming, we just got done with the Pete and C conference, but upcoming we have the NJECC conference in New Jersey. This is March 7th and 8th. We'll be in person on the 7th, so we're super excited to see everybody there. If you're going to be at NJECC, please stop by. We do have a session that day. We're going to do our EdTech Throwdown. And then March 8th is virtual, or remote, I should say. And we are going to do a new presentation on, we're going to call it Giving Templates to Support Student Creativity. So it's a lot of different templates that we use to help them podcast, create videos, screencast, things like that. So that's on March 7th and March 8th. Now, normally during this time, we tell you everything that we've produced or created over the last 2 weeks. It's been a pretty slow 2 weeks for us creation-wise, but we did get one YouTube video out there. I did a video on an app that is pretty sweet. The app is called Momento, Podcast Clips to Text. And what it does is allows you to listen to podcasts and take notes without having to use your hands a lot. So where do we listen to podcasts? In the car, doing work at home, but we don't have our hands or we don't have a pen and a piece of paper to write stuff down. So this app will allow you to use either one button on your phone. You just hold it in and it's going to basically transcribe 40 seconds of text or longer if you wish. And it's going to transcribe it and it will send it to whatever destination you want. I put it to my notes or to my Google Drive, and it's pretty sweet because it also timestamps it and it allows you to go back to that if you want to break down a certain segment of a podcast, long term. Another cool thing about it is in your car, you could set it so the controls on your steering wheel can do the same thing. And same thing with your wireless earbuds. I know, Kyle, you like to run. So if you have your earbuds and you want to run with one hand up and you want to hold the button, it will transcribe 30 to 40 seconds, whatever you have it preset at. So that's called Momento Podcast Clips to Text. That'll be in the show notes. And the last thing that we want, I'm going to let Nick go ahead over this. This is new as the last couple of weeks goes about our other side venture here.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna pass the ball again to Kyle for this one, but I'll just intro it by saying we have, I think at least it's a rather large change to our site, our project, myedtechbundle.com that we are really excited about. And I think, Kyle, you might be the best one to tell people what I'm talking about here.
Sure. So if you haven't heard of myedtechbundle.com, basically what it is our site that's been around only for a few months now, but The whole point of it is that you as a teacher can go there and grab premium subscriptions to tools, like mini subscriptions for a few months for absolutely free. It used to be a couple bucks, and we kind of talked a lot about it, and really it didn't fit our mission of really trying to get tools into teachers' hands. So what we're talking is right now, if you're listening to this, you can go to myedtechbundle.com and you can get 3 months for free to Pear Deck, to Nearpod, to Cami, to Mote, to Book Creator, to all sorts of really, really great tools for absolutely free. And every tool that's on our site is longer than you would normally be able to get that tool for. So it's just a really good way for us to get some tools into your hands for a longer time without having to pay any money, and a great way for us to help out some great tools and kind of get them some exposure too. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been cool. And it seems to be helping a lot of people out this time of year.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that. He just said for free, everybody. And if you notice the list of some of the tools there, we've got some heavy hitters for sure. We've got a lot of them that match up with the bracket we're going to get into in a second. I just think it's a no-brainer. If you're checking out myedtechbundle.com, you can actually click on each tool, and we kind of set it up so that it has enough information to guide a person who maybe is seeing it for the first time. Like maybe, I had never heard of Spindle. Nothing against Spindle. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. I had not heard of it. So if you're like that with Spindle, you could click on it, and there's all sorts of background information. And some of that information is letting you know the dollar value of what you are getting for free. And some of these go up pretty high too. If you're getting 3 months of a tool for free, added on to the regular trial period for free that you would get for that tool, it just makes a lot of sense. And like Kyle said, we just want to help out as many people as possible. And we think this is a better way to do it. So please check out myedtechbundle.com if you have not yet, to check out some of those changes. And with that, sorry.
I got to interrupt here. If anyone has Momento right now, you should be holding that button in, getting it transcribed, and sending it out to all your teacher friends, because free is a good deal.
That's a great point. I like the throwback already too. That's awesome. But yeah, let's get into the heart of the episode, guys. This is why we're here. It is called 16 Tools Compete for the Championship. But that's what our segment is called. Really what it's called is the 2022 Edtech March Madness Bracket, started by our good friend Kyle Niemis, who you've already heard talk about My Edtech Bundle. And I think it's also best that we kind of have you, Kyle, maybe introduce this to people. I mean, I'll start too by saying, if you are in the EdTech world and you listen to this show, you probably already know about this bracket because it's one of the bigger ones out there, possibly the biggest one out there, certainly the first one out there. And we're just going to cover all our bases and have Kyle explain it to people anyway. So if you could, sir, just a little history. How does it work? What's your process? What should people know before we get into our challenge today?
Sure. Yeah. So it's completely done on Twitter. So hopefully if you're listening to this, you have a Twitter account. But the goal, was simple. I started it in 2000 and I started 4 years ago. So what is that? 2019. Yeah. This will be the fourth bracket this year. But the goal was really, there's so many really great tools out there, and there's a million blog posts that'll tell you this tool is great and this tool is great. But I feel like I really wanted to create something that was kind of a people's choice winner of EdTech, where everyone who was actually in it using the tools got a say in who the top tool of the year was. So I designed it to be really simple, where I would just kind of make a bracket, and I picked 16 tools that I thought, my rules for picking the tools were this. They had to be good for all grades. So it couldn't just be an elementary or high school kind of thing. It had to be good for all subject areas. And it was a non-Google tool, so not Google Slides or anything like that. So just basically what I consider to be the top 16 good for all tools. And then every couple of days, there'd be a posting on Twitter, and then with the option for anyone to see it to basically vote. And there's a little poll that would go under it, and you just vote. It'd run for 2 days. And for the most part, at least especially last year, each round had a couple thousand votes, and it was a true champion each round. And it went over the course of about 15 days or so. And by the end, we end up with a champion each year of who the top tool is chosen by the people. And it's been cool because the first year was Pear Deck, which is, again, awesome tool. And then was I'm going to kick myself for forgetting this, but I forget who the second year was. And then last year was Quizizz. But it's just been cool. It's been a different tool every single year. So I'm really, really excited to see. I love this. I feel like I watch this just like I'm like nail biting every time and watching it go back and forth and just like seeing the comments and like it's just really, really fun to watch how into it people get and actually seeing people's favorites. Because a lot of times it's completely opposite than my favorites. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, one thing I like to see is people get very passionate about this. All right, so I think right off the bat we should just say to all the Desmos people out there, we're sorry. We got to spearhead this. I mean,
sorry, Desmos.
I will tell you this. You know, Desmos, I appreciate you as a tool. I don't know what Kyle's thinking. But just notice who I picked today, and you know, because you know the three of us, we have a little wager on the side on which one of our brackets is going to come out. So Desmos, you could team up with me. I have no problem with that. I'll even put Desmos at the end of each one of my tweets. I don't care.
Oh my god!
I'm telling you, I'm buying some votes here tonight, and I'm.
Wow.
But the Desmos people are very, very passionate about that tool. It's a great tool. But we're just reminding you that this is a tool that could be used by all.
Oh, you got to be careful with that, Eric. That's what I said last time, because Desmos is a phenomenal math tool. So they were very upset they didn't make the bracket last year, and they didn't again this year. And that's kind of what I said. It's kind of geared towards math, and I had plenty of people rebuttal and tell me that it's good for all subjects. So.
Well, I was just playing you. I was reading one of your tweets right now. You said, it has to be good for all tweets, and math is in every subject. I don't care what you say, Kyle.
So maybe next year, Desmos, maybe.
You got my vote.
All right, so there's a lot of tools to talk about, and these are all big names. So we're not going to spend a lot of time getting into the functionality of each tool. We will probably do that briefly, but I think what we're going to do is just go sort of one region at a time. And we'll say the tools that are there. And then I believe we talked about, guys, that we're just going to essentially pick whoever we think would come out on top of each of those regions. And essentially then in the process picking really whatever we think the final four will be, which will kind of be fun in the end to go back and see really who was closest, whose final four today is closest to the actual final four that gets picked by the by the Twitter public. So did I describe that correctly?
Yeah, I think you did a good job. So let's just hop into the Northwest region here, which is, in my opinion, the most brutal battles going to be coming out of this spot. And that's just my opinion. We have Canva, Book Creator, FlipGrid, and Mote. And I'm telling you right now, Kyle, I do not appreciate some of these matches, actually both of them, because if they were anywhere else, two of these tools would probably be in my final four. Maybe, to be honest with you, maybe three of these tools, maybe all four. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So I'm like wondering what you're doing here, but I do like it. I do like it because, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best.
We had that problem last year because Nearpod and Pear Deck went against each other like round one, and those are two gigantic tools. So it is hard because you try to put people who are similar in their functionality, but then you kind of get some of the big names here. And Canva's brand new this year. Canva is the first time to the bracket because I feel like they were always kind of a awesome tool, but I feel like just recently, in the last year or two, at least for me, they've really kind of dug into the education world pretty deeply, I would say. So we had to make sure we added them this year. So out of those four tools, Eric, Canva, FlipGrid, Mote, and Book Creator, those are the four. Who do you think is going to come out of that side?
It's hard. I mean, it is extremely hard. Canva does awesome stuff with just providing you templates to make good infographics and presentations and all that. Book Creator, I just started falling in love with, and it had nothing to do with them and everything to do with me for the reason why I haven't used them up until basically the end of last year. But I absolutely love Book Creator, and just all the things that you could do in there. You could do some of the making infographics and stuff right inside of that thing. FlipGrid's a heavy hitter. You're going to love, all the people that come out to bat for FlipGrid. And the functionality there is the fact that it's a totally free tool. And then you got Mote, and everyone knows my obsession with Mote. I think Mote saved me in pandemic teaching. It saved me because it allowed me to build connections with students that in any other normal circumstance I could probably do in person, but now that's how I was living through my teaching, was through Mote. And they keep getting better and better as they add on more and more functionality. So I think because of the fact that I use Canva every single day, I'm going to put Canva past Book Creator. It's going to be close.
Wow.
And because Mote is like, I'm actually thinking about getting a tattoo of Mote on my shoulder. That's how obsessed I am. I think I might go with Mote there, and I'm going to come with Mote to come the whole way out of this bracket, even though I know the other some of the other tools have monster following. I just think that the Mote people are going to get together and start a revolution.
Man, I could have predicted all of those things that you just said before you said them. And let's play it the other way. How about, guys, you predict my winner out of these final four, or out of these four?
Canva.
Yeah,
it's
Canva, and it's for the reason that you already said. I use that tool every single day, and I don't just mean for like podcast stuff. I mean for my actual teaching job every single day, designing classroom posters, having my students make infographics. I was just out for 2 days when my kids were supposed to be working on a poster project in class. Didn't matter, because in Canva they could do it without me there anyway. It wasn't a physical poster, but it got the job done, and it did it honestly probably better than their paper and marker pencil, or paper and marker posters we're going to do anyway. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Book Creator is awesome. I don't use it a whole lot, I think, because of the subject I teach and the grade level I'm at. FlipGrid, I've just never hopped on board. I understand how amazing and powerful it is and what it lets you do. Mote would definitely be a close second for me, but I gotta give it to Canva, man. So good choice picking for me, and that's gonna be in my final four. Kyle, what about you? Oh, sorry, guys.
I gotta say that Nick will not get a Canva tattoo, but he might design his tattoo in Canva. So
I would.
So see where I'm now picking a tool that you guys both didn't pick, and I'm gonna have to go with the FlipGrid Fever. I know that's arguably the most popular there, but I just think of, like, I used it this week. I had a kid who was scared to present in front of the class, and it was just a really easy way to still give that kid a voice and the other kids still hear them. And so I think my angle with FlipGrid is it's just the simple functionality to really help kids get that voice. And again, all three tools are great, but I would have to probably go with FlipGrid out of this four.
See, any other tool, if FlipGrid was paired up against any other tool, I would have probably picked FlipGrid.
Sorry.
Maybe. But
it's not supposed to be easy.
I know nothing in life is easy, and this bracket is already giving me a couple more gray hairs.
I will say, in favor of FlipGrid, you guys have to tell me if I have the name correct. Is it called the Shorts camera? What is the thing where you can draw with your finger on is that what it is? The Shorts?
FlipGrid Shorts. Yeah.
FlipGrid Shorts.
That's what's integrated into Wakelet.
That's the Wakelet integration.
Yeah.
That aspect, really, I do like that a lot. It's like a mini whiteboard for your finger, so you can write on your phone and kind of and talk over top of those annotations at the same time. So that is pretty awesome.
All right, so let's get into the Southwest portion of the bracket. The Southwest is very in tune with the assessments. So if we take a look at those, we have 4 tools, and I'll kick this one over to Kyle. But the 4 tools are Blooket. It is Blooket. I got it. Gimkit. Quizizz, last year's champ, and Kahoot. So, Kyle Niemis.
I get to start here. I will
Yeah.
say again, sorry for all the Kahoot fans out there. I honestly thought Kahoot was the first big giant, but they were kind of on their way out a little bit. And from the bracket the last couple of years, there's still a lot of Kahoot fan clubs. So Kahoot still gets a whole lot of love because I think it still does a very simple thing really well. But for me, out of all 4 gamification tools, and again, Quizizz was the champion, but I'm going with Blooket. It was hard because I love Gimkit as well, and I use Gimkit today in class. I just think that Blooket has it right now in the sense that it is basically 100% free. The paid version only lets you access the stuff a little earlier, but essentially compared to Gimkit, where you can maybe only access maybe a third of the features for free, I think I'd have to go with Blooket just because it has all these different features you can get for free. And it has a kind of a combination of everything. So, and my kids really love the crypto hack. I don't know if you guys have played that, but it's just like there's a lot of really creative ways to get kids engaged in reviewing and learning the content. And they're always coming out with new stuff. And just, again, I teach 7th grade, so I think it's right in the wheelhouse of silly, goofy, and fun. So for me, Blooket is coming in hot, and I really think that they're going to take it down this year in the gamification corner.
What's crypto hack? I haven't played that one yet.
Oh, it's so fun. So it's like every kid starts off with basically they give you like 3 like passwords, and you have to choose your secret password so no one knows it. And then like as other kids get questions right, sometimes occasionally they'll get a random chance to hack you, hack the other kid. And they guess the password, they could hack you, which either takes your money away or put stuff all over your screen so you can't start answering questions until you solve like a puzzle or things like that. So it just adds a nice, fun kind of attacking in a friendly way. The kids are really into it.
That's awesome. That sounds really fun. I'll jump in too because I'm basically going to agree with you for all the same reasons, and then one different one. I like the free elements of all these of Blooket compared to these other tools, and if you haven't figured out, I'm picking Blooket as well to win out of this region. My main thing is when I play Blooket with my class over any of these tools, and I've tried all of them at least 2 times. Some of them a lot more, but a minimum of 2 times. The kids get more excited about the Blooket games than anything else. They used to kind of be that way with Kahoot at the beginning, but it's been around for so long, and that's not to diminish it, but they're kind of just used to it now. They still enjoy the heck out of it. But man, they just get so excited and into it with these Blooket games, and it's for things like Kyle just talked about. It just has this element of, stealing points back and forth, and they just get really jazzed up about the whole thing. And I just haven't seen that with any of the others. So for me, Blooket gets it. It's just way too fun not to make it the winner here. But I have to say this was, that first one, guys, you said was really hard to choose, and you were right. I think this one was for me at least probably equally as hard because these are all very, very, very fun games to play. But Blooket edges them out.
Well, I guess it's my turn to tell you that you're both wrong,
no.
And you're both royally wrong because Gimkit's gonna beat Blooket in the first round, but Quizizz is gonna take down the region. I'm just calling it how I see it here. I think Gimkit has an amazing following that is very loyal to them. Nothing against Blooket because it is super fun, and that crypto thing almost swayed me. I mean, I love that stuff. That is awesome, and I do, give them a lot of credit with their creativity because it seems like every other week they're coming out with a new thing. And what I really like about Blooket, maybe I am going. No, I'm not. I'm not going Blooket. But what I really like is they gamify it using real world popular concepts. Like crypto is very popular right now. That's smart. But I'm going to say Gimkit's going to edge them out in the first round, but Quizizz is going to take down the region. So that gets us halfway through our bracket. Let's go to the Northeast. I had to,
Paul, before we hop on, can I just say one more thing about Gimkit that a lot of people I've talked to don't know this part of Gimkit, and I'm still staying with Blooket, but this is a really, really good part of Gimkit that I think a lot of people don't take advantage of enough. And I was doing it today, and it just reminded me of it. So, do you know the Kit Collab? Do you guys ever use the Kit Collab where kids contribute? So this is okay. That's what I mean. Like, and you guys are tech experts, and so what Gimkit has that I think Blooket needs is you can set it up where if I want to go into if I want to do a review game for my nervous system, right? But I don't have any questions made. I can give the kids a link on Google Classroom and they create the questions. So it lets them create questions and then I just approve it. And then it creates an entire kit of questions from their homemade questions. And then you can easily just play a Gimkit game really quick with their questions. So obviously you can see the benefits of them having to think of good questions and then play with their own fun questions. So what I've loved to do is if we do a review game, I'll assign 2/3 of the class that has to come up with a sciencey question, and the other third of the class has to come up with completely random, boring facts about themselves. So you end up with this nice little mix of like sciencey learning about the kids. So it's just such a cool feature that I think people don't take advantage of enough in Gimkit is the kit collab way for kids to create their own questions and play with theirs. So I just want to throw that out there. I think it is my favorite feature of Gimkit.
As I said, Gimkit first round, Quizizz takes down the house. I'm just saying, let's get into the Northeast. Yep, Northeast. Had to make sure my East, West, all that stuff gets confusing, especially when it's after 8 p.m. at night. I turn into a bowl of soup. So let's get into it. This one is going to be about video, it looks like to me. So we have Screencast-o-matic versus Screencastify. I'm very interested in that one. And Edpuzzle versus Wevideo. So Nick, why don't you chop this one up and dice it and slice it and tell us what you got there.
Yeah, oh man, I just said that the last one we did was the hardest to choose. I'm changing my mind. This one is the hardest to choose for me. I spend a lot of time creating videos. I use a lot of the flipped classroom method to teach, which requires me to make a lot of videos because in that process, I believe it's important for me to make my own content for the kids to view. I think it meets my needs better. I think the students like it better and appreciate it more. So I'm using all of these tools all the time, and I can tell you they are all excellent in their own realm, and they're great at what they do. For screencasting, we've got Screencast-o-matic and Screencastify. I'm going to have my winner here is going to be an unpopular opinion, and it's Screencast-o-matic. I know everybody's obsessed with Screencastify. I get why. I use it all the time as well. But if I had to choose one, I'm picking Screencast-o-matic, and I'll circle back and explain why in the end when I pick my final winner here. But Screencast-o-matic gets it. What I will say about Screencastify is that it literally cannot be beat for speed and ease of use. If a student emails me a question, a lot of the time, I don't even bother typing out an answer. I just hit the little Screencastify Chrome extension and start talking and recording myself, or I have a little Google drawing up in a bookmarked tab, and I start writing or solving a problem while it's recording, and I just shoot them the Screencastify link, and the whole thing is over and done faster than the email would have taken me, and higher quality, and the kid gets to hear my voice and see the work written out. And I could not do that as easily with Screencast-o-matic. So I get Screencastify's place, but I'm still giving it to the other one. Now, these other two tools, Edpuzzle and Wevideo, again, really tough. Wevideo gives you this really high quality editing service that is web-based and collaborative, tough to beat. Edpuzzle, also tough to beat. If you're running a flipped classroom where your students are watching videos, what a no-brainer not to use this tool. I'm going to give it here to Edpuzzle because I could technically do without Wevideo. I don't have to do all kinds of editing to my videos. It's nice and I like to, and I'll continue to do that, but I don't need it. But I feel like I do need Edpuzzle to help monitor what the kids are watching and how much they're watching and what they're understanding. So now I've got to choose between Edpuzzle and Screencast-o-matic, and my final winner goes to Screencast-o-matic. And here's why I chose that one over all the rest. It's the only one that I need and can do almost everything. I can do tons of editing right in the Screencast-o-matic platform, which knocks out Wevideo right off the bat. Edpuzzle's nice, but I don't need it. And if I build the proper classroom, rapport and other tools like, maybe small assessments and check-ins, I don't need Edpuzzle, but I do need that Screencast-o-matic, and its built-in editing tools make it the best choice for me. So that was a lot. I hope you guys don't mind. I covered all that, but there's a lot to say about these four really awesome EdTech tools.
No, I think that is a little long-winded, and I'm proud of you because I know that was a struggle to get to the finish line. There long race you had, but I appreciate what you said there. I disagree, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm very curious where you're gonna go with this one, guys.
I'm gonna let Kyle go first.
All right,
and then I'll just speak the truth some more. I can't wait. I'm gonna get totally bashed in every ounce of social media out there because I'm acting like I know stuff and I don't. But go ahead, Kyle. You're up.
So for me, the Edpuzzle Wevideo, to me, that was my no-brainer here. Again, both great tools, but I don't really use Wevideo a lot for editing and so on and so forth. And our school doesn't pay for it. So Edpuzzle, to me, like you said, Nick, it provides a very specific niche of what it does, helping monitor kids and so on and so forth and asking good questions. So to me, Edpuzzle would take down Wevideo. And Screencast-o-matic was my first love when it came to screencasting, but I went over to Screencastify for exactly the reason you said. It's just so easy to make, and it's in it. When I was an ed tech coach, like the amount of times it was like you said, to make something, send it to a teacher and help them out. Plus Screencastify, I don't know if Screencast-o-matic can do this, but you can turn it into GIFs, MP4s. It integrates with YouTube, integrates with Edpuzzle. So Screencastify would be my winner in that one. And then ultimately, Screencastify would take down the entire bracket for me just because I feel like it's a tool I use almost every single day for small things, for big things. It's just so great for exactly what it does. So to me, Screencastify is the top video tool in that bracket.
Yeah, I get it 100%. I just so everybody knows, you can download your Screencast-o-matics as GIFs. I'm not sure when they added it, but it is a thing. I know because I was just wondering that myself a couple weeks ago and I found it. But yeah, it makes sense, man. I use it a lot too. It's interesting. So did you went Screencastify as your final winner for that category?
Screencastify was my final winner there. Yep.
Okay, guys.
All right. Well, you're both wrong. I almost want to just like take scissors, clip the top two tools off, and give Mote a bye to the final. That's what I want to do there because, maybe the Mote gets into video a little bit later. But for me, and the only thing that made me hesitant is something that Kyle said. Kyle said his district doesn't have Wevideo. But everything that you guys described, ease of editing and all that, I find that in Wevideo, and it gives you a lot more. All right. The only thing that is separating, well, to be honest with you, Screencastify, if you want the premium service, you could pay for it. Screencast-o-matic, Edpuzzle, they're all the same in that way. I'm going to go Wevideo to win this whole side, and this is the reason why. Wevideo allows students to become content creators in so many different ways, and you just can't ignore that. If I had to pick 4 tools that I'm going to get stuck on an island and teach remote learning for the rest of my career, Wevideo would definitely be one of those tools just because of how many things you could do. Now with Screencast-o-matic, you can make screencasts. It has awesome editing tools. Out of the two, I think the editing is far more superior in Screencast-o-matic than Screencastify. Ease of use goes to Screencastify. But here's the thing. Wevideo, you can send stuff to your Google Drive. You can send stuff to your computer. You can send stuff to YouTube. Remember, YouTube is one of the largest search engines out there. So access is all there. You could run your Flip Classroom from there. Wevideo, you could podcast. You could edit your podcast. You can make GIFs. All that stuff you could do in Wevideo. But it just looks so much sharper. And it takes half of the time that like Adobe Premiere or some of those major softwares, it takes half of the time to do whatever you need to do in there. You can make your one-off, answer to one of your students who asks a question in Wevideo, and it's not perfect, and you don't need to edit it, and you just push it out. You share the link with them, or you take it to your, share the link through your LMS. So for me, if I had to pick a winner between Screencast-o-matic, Screencastify, maybe I leave it. I don't know. They're very close. Maybe I leave it blank and just let the majority people do it because it's that close to me. Personal preference is Screencast-o-matic. We all know that. and Wevideo's taken. They should win this by a landslide. Nothing against Edpuzzle, because I believe Edpuzzle beat Wevideo last year. I'm not 100% sure. At some point in time in the bracket, maybe it was the year before. But I'm going to say the Wevideo folks are going to show up, and the Edpuzzle people will be puzzled about what happened. Corny joke after corny joke. Let's go.
Yeah, there you go, man. It is worth pointing out, you can screencast with Wevideo, which, depending on if you have access to that service, might make the other two almost irrelevant for you. And I get that. So your argument is certainly solid, but I'm sticking with Screencast-o-matic, and I have a feeling Kyle's going to stick with Screencastify too.
Yeah, and just for the record, Edpuzzle made the Final Four last year, and Wevideo didn't even make it out of the first round. Just want to make sure you're aware of that.
I think the paywall trips people up for Wevideo, right? Because that's a pretty big, at least in terms of voting, I think that's going to stop people.
Well, it is based on seats. It's very hard for the individual, licensing and stuff like that. But to make sense in a school district, I think. But
right.
If you do have Wevideo, it's just so powerful. And I can see that being used by many for many different purposes, like I said. Yep. All right, let's kick it into our last one, because we do want to get into who we think is going to win the whole thing. But so we have the Southeast. And to me, this one's kind of like two of them are the same and the other two are just good tools. I don't even know what a pattern is here. They're not all fruit. I don't know. So we're just going to go with the miscellaneous region here. We have Nearpod and Pear Deck being very similar in their usage. And we have a new tool to the gamification arena, which is Bamboozle. And then Kami. I think it's Kami. I'm going Kami. But Kyle, you're lucky because you get to go first.
Oh, I get to go first in this one? Yeah, this was kind of miscellaneous. I mean, Nearpod and Pear Deck are obviously very similar, and they went against each other first round last year, so I tried to keep them separate this year. So to me, those are the two big dogs. Bamboozle is kind of new to the game, so if you're listening to this, they're probably the least known out of 16, but they're new, they're upcoming. They're kind of like a Jeopardy on steroids kind of tool, so it's still, again, a gamification. It's definitely probably more elementary, I guess, but you can still use it for all grade levels. It's just it's a fun tool. We know the owners, and it's just, again, a couple cool guys. And I love when, I don't know, something new and exciting comes out. So Bamboozle is great, but I think they have had absolutely no shot against Nearpod in the first round, as the Nearpod came in second last year. So I would definitely say Nearpod will probably take them down, being as dynamic as they are. And then I think Pear Deck's going to take down Kami. Again, I think the Pear Deck and Nearpod just have such huge followings, and they do such amazing things, and it helped out so many people during the remote time. So I think that we're going to see Pear Deck versus Nearpod once again competing for this side of the bracket. And it's so hard. I wrote down what I picked, but I keep second guessing myself. So I got to stick with it. I'm going to go with Nearpod. Again, I just think that Nearpod has a handful of extra features that I really like. And to be honest, here's what annoys me about Pear Deck. The free version, they have it so if kids are participating, you can't see like kids' names, which I get is they're trying to get you to pay the money, but like Nearpod, you can, I believe. So I'm going to pick Nearpod to take this one down.
Very interesting. Okay, yeah, this is a unique category for sure. And I don't really know what to do with it either. I mean, it's definitely going to come down to Nearpod and Pear Deck. Maybe I do like Kami a lot, and I've been corrected both ways on how to pronounce it. Someone came up at a conference one time and yelled at me and said it's supposed to be Kami, and then someone I work with yelled at me and said it's supposed to be Kami. So who knows? I've been saying Kami recently. I really like the tool. It saves me a lot in terms of I've got a quick PDF that I don't have time to make copies of, and I can just push it out to my kids and they can work on it. I don't know if that's everybody's experience. So it's like you said, Kyle, Pear Deck's probably going to get that one. if I'm just going to talk a little bit more about Bamboozle. If you haven't tried it, it's pretty cool. It's not like the other gamification tools where you think of students are joining a game with a code, right? It's more kind of like this old school style thing where the kids are just watching a screen and the game is being really only controlled by the teacher. And they're seeing what the questions are on the screen. So you have to team up your kids. I think the free version, you can do 4 teams. So you just kind of split up your kids into 4 teams. And there's a bunch of almost like squares on the board. And there's different games you can choose, of course. But they pick, I want to answer number 2. And the teacher clicks on number 2. There's a question that pops up. Whoever's team or whichever team's turn it is answers the question. If they're right, they get points. If they're wrong, they don't. And it goes to the next team and just kind of circles around. So it's, it has its place as this sort of relic of the way in-class games used to be played amongst this sort of modern world. And I've tried it before. It's actually pretty fun. And the team aspect is what I like. And I think that's their purpose, is to get kids face-to-face, get kids away from just looking at their computer screen and get them talking to each other again, but in that fun game atmosphere. And they have all the same build-ins. Like, sometimes if you click on square 5, it's a point stealing square, and that team gets to pick which other team's points they want to steal. So it has a lot of the same fun stuff, but definitely a different take on it. It's probably not going to win because it's an up-and-comer. So I'm going to do the same Nearpod Pear Deck battle as Kyle. And almost randomly, I'm just going to give it to Pear Deck, at least from what I see. I don't know more of like a global trend on this, but I do see more people using Pear Deck in my immediate circle. So I'm going to say Pear Deck wins this one out for that reason. Guys.
Well, once again, I would like to take the scissors, and no, I'm gonna be straight with you guys on this one. Bamboozle, I love. I think it is an up and comer, but I do love the fact that I would use this tool for my intros and exit tickets in my classroom. It's just such a quick and easy way to get things up and running and moving quick. So I do have to say that Nearpod's going to win there. For Kami, the thing that I struggle with Kami is I have Canva for Education, and I'm able to share a template with my kids through Canva for Education. So they can really just go in there and annotate using Canva. So I put out a blog post and a podcast episode about my EdTech toolkit and the importance in keeping that toolkit very, very small. So kids aren't taking so much time learning new technology. They're just getting really good at using the technology that they have in front of them in various different ways. With that being said, during the pandemic, I used Kami a lot because it was just in my toolkit, but I don't see it beating Pear Deck. I'm curious who won out of the 2 last year.
So last year, Nearpod beat Pear Deck.
All right, great. So Nearpod, I see that being, I don't know why, but I always thought Nearpod had the older crowds and Pear Deck had the middle school and younger crowds. But Nick, you said you saw it differently. Pears aren't my favorite fruit. I'm going Nearpod. And that's literally the reason why I'm picking that. So it's a lame reason, but it's going to happen. Let's go. Yeah, you're muted, so I'll stall for you a couple seconds.
Sorry. That your reason of favorite fruit was pretty close to my reason too. I just thought of like as many teachers as I could in my immediate vicinity using these tools, and Pear Deck did have a little bit heavier usership, but definitely a tough call. I'm super interested to see how that one comes out, and I think that wraps it up unless anybody has any final comments about that last region.
No, it's pretty amazing that I've been writing down the final 4 brackets for all of us, and the fact that you and Eric have not a single tool that is the same in your final 4 is what gets me so excited about this bracket, is because there's so many people who have such strong opinions about what they use, and I can't wait to see how it actually plays out.
Well, that also fits along with our yin and yang.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, we argue about everything. It's all good.
Kyle, can you do a quick rundown of those of the final the lists we all came up with before we wrap it up?
You got it. All right. So my final four, I chose FlipGrid, Blooket, Screencastify, and Nearpod. Eric, you chose Mote, Quizizz, Wevideo, and Nearpod. And then Nick, you chose Canva, Blooket, Screencast-o-matic, and Pear Deck to be your final four.
I think we should go ahead and play this out. I want to know who everybody thinks is going to win. So, Nick, you want to go first?
Yeah, let's do that. I think, man, oh man, that is tough. That is tough. I'm gonna go curveball here and say Canva makes it is the final winner this year. That's what I think it's gonna be. I just have seen so many people just in recent months that are using this tool, and so many teachers that are using this tool, and not even like your typical tech-centric teachers. It's just really exploded into all areas, and for me, it's everywhere. And I think that's going to be reflected in this year's bracket. So I see Canva making big waves. I think it's going to be the overall winner.
I think Scott Nunes will be saluting you and giving you the thumbs up in a meme tomorrow.
Yep. You're welcome, Scott.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Kyle. How's it really going to happen?
Oh, it's so hard. They're just such good tools. But I would have to choose Nearpod. I just really think that Nearpod's going to bring it home. I think that they have a huge following, and they offer so many wonderful features for in-person and hybrid, any kind of style. So I think Nearpod is going to be our champion of 2022.
All right, so you guys have that. I'm going to have to really bring some realistic view to this conversation. See, I think Mote is going to come out strong. I think it's going to come out strong the whole way to the final four. But, because Mote and Quizizz, the following is in two different time zones. And I know how Kyle is and how he, randomizes these times when he's going to stop the quiz. It's predetermined, so there's no shenanigans. But I think Quizizz is probably going to sneak in, because I think that's what happened in years past. I'm not 100% sure there. This is all just me making stuff up in my head, but I'm going Quizizz, and I'm going to go with Pear Deck on the other side, and the winner this year, Nearpod on the other side, because I'm, partial to Nearpods over pairs. I'm gonna go with our first repeat of a champion, Quizizz.
Yeah.
None of you saw that coming.
No.
I mean, but they were defending champions from last year. They had a huge following, and so why not have them take it down again, right? Whew, I can't wait.
I think it's going to be fun, and I can't wait for all the mean tweets. I mean, we might have to do a whole episode on mean tweets, because they're coming. I could feel it. I can feel it.
Desmos is very angry, and I'm ready for it.
Well, I'm gonna be right there with him. But I'm inviting all Desmosians to mean tweet Kyle Niemis.
Yeah, okay. But so voting starts for everyone listening. So if you're listening to this right now, this is going to be released. This podcast will be released on the 28th of March, correct? And so the bracket will have just been released on the 27th. So again, you can see it at Kyle Niemis. You'll be able to see the full bracket. But the first round of voting will happen March 2nd, which is a Wednesday at right around 3:00 is when the first round of voting will start, and every round lasts for 2 days. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Should be fun.
All right. Well, Kyle, thanks for joining us on today's podcast. We really appreciate it. It's always good to have you on the podcast. That's going to wrap up this episode of GotTech the Podcast. Do us a couple of favors. Go check out GotTech.com. We post everything there. It's like our landing page. You can check out podcasts, blogs, YouTube videos, templates, all that good stuff. Or go over and listen to our podcast at any of the major podcast players. We will have this video air on YouTube Sunday or Monday. We haven't really talked it over. Maybe this is the premiere, but I'm thinking that maybe we'll do it on Monday. So if you are listening to the podcast and you want to go check out the video to see what we actually look like instead of what we actually sound like, go to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find us there. Follow us on Twitter. Nick at Nick Got Tech, me at Guise Got Tech, the podcast at We Got Tech, and Kyle, I believe you're at Kyle Niemis, right?
That's it. Yep.
All right. So make sure that you go over and follow Kyle. Tell your friends about GotTech the Podcast. If you feel so inclined, write us an Apple Podcast review. It always helps. Just a reminder, we are a proud part of the Teach Better Podcast Network. So also check out all the amazing podcasts over there. Until next time, make sure you go out and you vote for the best EdTech tool for the 2022 EdTech Madness, brought to you by myedtechbundle.com. We'll see you later.